Hi, everybody, and welcome to Off the Charts. Jason, I saw you jamming out to the music there. How are you doing, my friend?
It was too groovy, Mike. I'm good. Good, sir. How about you?
I'm feeling good. I've got my coffee over here just off camera, and I'm excited. I'm ready for this. I am ready. So welcome, everyone, to Off the Charts. This is our monthly webinar series that we do. We'll do some quick introductions first for anyone that's not familiar. My name's Mike Warner. I'm the Director of Artist Label and DSP Relations here at Chartmetric. And to the right is
Jason.
Jason.
I'm Jason Hoven, Senior Manager for Music Data Insights at Chartmetric. Hey, everybody.
Awesome. And we've actually got, while people are starting to filter in here as well, we've got an updated teaser video that has been put together for us. It's very short, less than 1 minute. For anyone that is new to Chartmetric, it's a great explainer of what we do, and much better than me getting tongue-tied right there. So let's jump into that.
Music is more omnipresent than ever. People consume music without borders and interact with artists across so many different channels. Everything is changing, and we are dealing with more data than ever in music history. Chartmetric is here to simplify the digital music landscape. We bring you the latest data from dozens of platforms and connect it, so you can focus on spotting trends and gathering insights. Track your audience across the entire digital spectrum from one simple-to-use dashboard and unlock powerful analytics to amplify your reach. Explore all this and more at chartmetric.com.
Much better job than I could have done. Awesome. Jason, where are you coming to us from today? You're in the New York office, right?
Yes, it's a beautiful summer day here in New York City. Our East Coast team has a small office here in Soho in Lower Manhattan, for those familiar with the city. And yeah, doing great. It's a beautiful day today.
Awesome. And I'm coming to you live from somewhat sunny San Diego. It's one of those rare days where we've got a few extra clouds out there today, but I'm not complaining. It's a beautiful day. Excellent. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to actually jump across, and Sung Cho, the CEO and founder of Chartmetric, is going to take us on a bit of a walkthrough of some of his favorite features. After that, Jason and I are going to do a walkthrough of the artist plan and a few other things. Now, I should mention as well, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those in the chat. We are actively monitoring that as well. Now let's jump across to Sung.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Mike. All right, I'm so excited to show you some of the latest features and also some important features that our customers ask us a lot about. So there are a couple things here, a couple exciting things. Let me begin from this page. We call it like a list of artists, where you can explore. Actually, let me begin from this page. So we call it a list of artists where you can explore our now it's 7.78 million artists. This number grows every day. You can use filters to narrow down your search in any way, by the artist like numbers or by the audience characteristics. Really powerful tool. But we made a small change to make your lives easier. As you see here, there are so many columns here, so it can be overwhelming. You may not, you're thinking of like global artists. So Pandora metrics may not be as relevant to you. So you simply click it now. That was too quick, but when you press this, Pandora right here, Pandora streams, the moment when you pressed it, it's gone. So if you don't need Facebook or Wikipedia metrics, then you can hide this and you can export CSV in this format. So that is the powerful part. So this is one of the latest features that we added. Of course, you don't have to hide the whole thing about TikTok, for example. If you still want to have the engagement in the table, then you only leave the engagement but hide followers or likes. You can do that as well. By the way, that is a new column that we added in the last 4 weeks. We show these TikTok or YouTube engagement We have that for Instagram as well. So for these 3 platforms, there is this engagement metric now, which means engagement means the number of likes plus comments divided by the number of followers. In this case, the likes and comments is coming from the last 30 days. Last 30 days likes and comments divided by the number of followers. That is the engagement. If you look at this, you see that people are a lot more engaging with Bad Bunny on TikTok than people do with Justin Bieber on TikTok platform, for example. And Harry Styles, one of the hottest artists these days, yes, expected that the engagement rate is very, very high. And also the trend is it's an upward trend, 1.38% in the last 28 days. So a lot of people ask, like 1.38% over the course of what period? It's the last 4 weeks. So that's what we show here. Let me move on to the next feature that we launched recently. So again, Harry Styles. This part is new. You see career stage and career growth. So this is based on the movement and also where the artist is. Harry Styles, yes, superstar stage, because he is quite up there in our ranking, 6th in the world, actually. Also, the growth trend is showing explosive growth. So before you go down to every granular stat, you can still see, the overall trend of the artist. So that is a new feature we just added. Another feature that I wanna highlight is in the audience section. If you go down to Instagram, right here, now we show primary Instagram audience, which is we have through machine learning algorithm, we have kind of identified what does the core audience look like for Harry Styles, and we put like plain English words to that. So Brazilian young adult females, that's kind of the characteristic, and this came from these details: young adult female, English speaking or Portuguese speaking, which you can see from here as well, and race is like goes like that, United States and Brazil. The most powerful thing about this is since we did this grouping, you can see other artists who share similar type of audience, similar audience characteristics. So this can be powerful if you are doing a research. Let's say that this is my artist. We have, it looks like the audience looks like that. What are some other artists that, using the same audience characteristics? If this artist goes further and further, then what kind of audience, what kind of artists will this artist become like? So that is the intention behind this project. Next feature that I want to highlight here is called Shazam Chart. So we had the city by city charts already. There's a nationwide, but you can go all the way down. Like I'm interested in San Francisco city trend that like by date, you can go all the way back to 2020, 2019, or all the way to 2017. So that's one thing. But we added one tab here called genre. So now on Shazam Chart, you can see this ranking genre by genre. So hip hop and rap genre, Wait for You by Future is number 1, First Class, Big Energy, Freaky Tricky, Dicky. So like these are the ones, and or Latin genre, if I change, then Mi Porto Bonito, that is the number 1. So this can be another powerful research tool. So let's say that this is the number 1 track here on this genre chart. Let's look at the track, what's happening on TikTok. So we now show the total post count, even though we are not showing all of them in this list. because it's too much, but we have the data. One thing you can do here is that you can click to see the trend. So let me take it back a little bit. So the list you see here, these are the sound or post. These are different posts by different users. Posts meaning different videos. These are different videos, and videos, they get likes, comments, and views every day. We highlight the ones that are received most number of likes. Along with, we also show the trend right next to it. So as you see, this video has received the most number of likes, and it was watched 10 million times. Or there's another video by Ricardo and has likes and comments, and then also we show the trend here. So many videos created with this track, they're quite trendy. You can see that, and looks like this one is particularly blowing up in the last just 7 days. From 43,000 views, it has exploded. So you may wonder, what is that video? What happened to that video? I don't know, but something about this video there's something about this video that people love. So you can see that. So that's fun. That is the preview for this webinar, the product review. We have more exciting features coming up the next month, so please stay tuned. Now back to you, Mike.
Awesome. And that was Sung Cho, and Jason is on mute.
No longer.
No longer. I figured I'd save you. It's usually me, so I'm glad it was someone else this time. Thank you. Cool. Well, I don't know how we follow up from Sung. I mean, we were planning on talking about the artist plan. Jason, do you have a screen ready to share?
I do.
Let's go ahead and let's find that. There we are. Let's put the right screen up. Fantastic. So, Jason, would you like to kick it off?
For sure. Real quick, I just want to say what's up to Victor and Isaac. Thanks for being here. I know we got a bunch of folks up on LinkedIn too. Thanks for being here too. Taking time out of your day. Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with Chartmetric, first of all, welcome. We have a bunch of different ways to interact with our tool. So there's a basic free version of it that you see there on the left. There's an artist plan in the middle, which we're going to get into for the next few minutes, and there's the premium for people who are at bigger companies and need kind of like a more robust kind of access. So that's kind of what you're working with. You can do it on a monthly or yearly basis. We're not going to give you the whole sales pitch, but just so you know, there's a couple levels to this, and this is basically how it breaks out. Mike, do you want to talk about it a little bit more, or should we just kind of move on?
I think we should jump in and start showing it. Yeah.
All right, cool. So this is your dashboard. So when you first create an account, this is what you're going to see. And when you do this artist plan specifically, you're going to have an option. So you can have 1, 2, or 3 artists at your disposal. So I think if you caught it during Sung's talk, I think we're actually at 8.8 million at this point. Artists, and those are artists around the globe. So, and just so you know, the way we ingest new music and new artists into our platform is when either one of our users kind of inputs someone or a track or an album manually, which, by the way, you can do if you're not aware of this. You could take a Apple Music artist URL or a Spotify artist URL, and you can just copy and paste that link into our search bar. And then if we don't have that artist already, it'll populate a new artist, and there you are. Or if a new track, gets into a playlist that Chartmetric is already tracking, and then we register that, hey, this is a new artist, let's create a new profile, that kind of thing. That's how we ingest artists. And so that's how that count has gotten to where it is today. So when you register yourself for an artist plan, you can do 1, 2, or 3 artists. And when you first log in, after you do that, you're going to see this dashboard. And naturally, you're going to see those people here. Now, I have 5 on this one because I have selected Olivia Rodrigo, Eldre, and Kate Bush, different artists from kind of different places in the world and different places in their careers. And I have a couple more here, Black Keys and Kiana Lede. So these 3 I'm going to have access to because, let's just pretend I was a new person signing up for Artist Plan. I did the 3 Artist Plan, and they're going to show up on my dashboard. Now, you can also follow other ones as well, but you're just going to see a limited amount of information in this kind of like, hey, if you want to check this artist and all of their data, you can kind of change your access. But essentially, this is like the first screen you start with. So, Mike, who you want to start with of these 3?
Let's do Eldre.
Eldre, cool.
I've been listening to a lot of his music recently. For anyone that's not familiar, Eldre had a lot of success specifically on TikTok with his original music being used in literally millions of creations, videos. And, just being able to see that in Chartmetric is extremely exciting, not just for the TikTok side, but how that has translated to growth across other platforms as well. We're talking editorial playlists, we're talking charts, we're talking Shazams, all of that, it comes full circle. And so what Jason just did there was click the cross so we could actually go directly to the TikTok page and see all of those creations as well. So what's I find really exciting about Eldre is an artist. So the music is being included in this content, but on the other side is also a creator himself. So he's actually posting on TikTok and on social media and gaining a significant following himself. So he has a large following on YouTube, not just for his music, but for his detailed videos that he does as well, where he details the process. So
Super
one
cool.
of many interesting people that at least I've had my eyes on in the last few weeks, particularly.
Yeah, super cool. I think he showed up too in a recent Vox earworm video that came out recently about kind of TikTok and Spotify and how those different platforms can like create new careers for people. I think he was one of the people that they talked to, which is really cool. So when you click on one of the artists that you subscribe to, this is where you're brought to. This is kind of like, the artist page. It's where, so many of our users, spend a lot of time. And it's got it's got that navigation on your left that you see here, which, we'll go through, really briefly. And then this is the main navigation up here, which goes to other places in our tool. But, when you start out on the overview, it's overview stuff. Like Mike just mentioned before, one of the best things about Chartmetric is the ability to save a lot of time. So, if you haven't updated, your links, if this is you, for example, or if this is an artist that you manage, you can always do that here. And then once we have that URL for, Shazam or YouTube or Wikipedia for that matter, we'll have that. And so we can kind of track that information kind of moving forward from that point. But, in terms of just being able to take a quick look at someone you don't know, for example, I guess you got to be logged in for that. You can quickly pop over to any one of the platforms that, that particular artist is available in, and you can kind of check them out, check out their music or check out kind of things they've been posting lately very quickly, which, over time saves a lot of time. Cool. So, you'll see a lot of, Chartmetric based statistics here, as well as statistics from other platforms. When Sung mentioned the career stage and career growth, these are the things that you see here. That is a lot based on Chartmetric artist score. Here we're looking at rank, and I think it's worth talking about a little bit, like the difference between the two. To do that, let me actually go over to this next tab, the social and streaming stats tab. The score is kind of like the baseline of everything. So it's essentially, at this point we're tracking over 20 different platforms from the streaming, social, and kind of all the other different platforms that are relevant to the music industry, all at the same time. So, naturally the human brain can only take so much. So the score is our way of simplifying it all into one number. So 10,306, it's a number that is kind of an index more than anything else. It's a number that really has no top. You can keep going on forever. You can kind of see another way of looking at it here, and you can kind of click on this time frame to kind of look at Eldre's kind of Chartmetric score, which essentially translates to overall popularity. Sorry, I don't think I got to that. That's what the score is really kind of getting to. The score is a way of condensing, everything from your YouTube views to your Spotify monthly listeners to your Instagram followers, how much that's grown in the past, X amount of time, and condensing that into one index. And essentially, once you have that index, it gives you the ability to understand, okay, this past, release that, El Dre had, Lo-Fi Guy 2, just click on that. It's, some music that he put out on March 24th. And you can kind of see there's definitely a bump from 25 to 35,000, in his Chartmetric score. Now, that 10,000 difference, it's all going to be kind of a relative thing in the sense that, does the number itself, listeners or streams, of course not. But when you kind of look over the course of not only your career, but other artists you might be tracking, trying to understand kind of like how your overall popularity across all your different platforms that you're present in is tracking, it should give you a really good idea of understanding, hey, that promotion campaign I ran, for that album went really well. Or maybe if you don't see too much of a tick at all, maybe not so much. But at least giving you something to go back into the lab and try to kind of modify and tweak as you kind of go along. Now,
Jason, can I just add on to that? Sorry.
Yeah, man.
I know you're going to probably jumping to rank next.
Yeah.
One other thing that I love about the score, we haven't always had the score. What's great about the score is that you're not comparing yourself to anyone else. This score is just for you as an artist to show your own growth. So it's not showing you how that score compares to any other artist or where you're at compared to any other artist. It's you competing with nobody but yourself and focusing on your own growth. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people tend to navigate directly towards score for themselves now, because it's never going to be disheartening. It's going to show you what your growth looks like, and it's going to show you what's relevant just to you. So I look at this more than anything else at the moment, because it's a really good indicator of where you're at, not where you're at in comparison to someone else.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because the rank is relative to other people.
Yeah.
So, El Dre is obviously doing really great for himself. He's kind of, in the 5,500, rank. But it's a relative thing, just like Mike has mentioned. So, if a bunch of people, near him drop a new album or run, a super, high budget, Instagram or TikTok campaign and are getting a bunch of attention from it, it's going to change where he stands in terms of his ranking, because, even though he's just kind of doing his own thing and nothing really happened, he stayed here, didn't go bad, didn't do worse, but everyone else who just did a bunch of stuff will kind of move up. So it's not necessarily, indicative of him and what he's doing in terms of his own career, but, to understand how he sits in the marketplace, it is very important because, a lot of times, with algorithms or, just whatever business decisions you have laid out in front of you for the next few months, kind of where you are relative to other artists, of course, is always going to be really important. So that's what the rank is for. I don't want to get too technical right now. I think we should probably keep it moving. But essentially, this tab, the rest of it, is like time series data. So we're looking at 1 month. I have it. Oops, I don't have it synced. If you click on the sync charts, then you can kind of like roll down and see, okay, I want to look at the past year. So I can look at the past 6 months. Everything changes here. We have YouTube subscribers, TikTok followers, TikTok likes. By the way, I could totally just click on this and boom, I'm there again on his TikTok. Or if I want to check out his YouTube, boom, I just click it. I'm there on his TikTok, or I'm there on his YouTube. Again, just a time saver. The rest of this, Mike, do you want to talk about neighboring artists?
Yeah, sure. So that view that it's defaulting to right there is showing artists within that range with the rank. So in this case, we can see between rank 5,515 and El Dre is sitting at 5,520. Obviously, this is going to be any artist regardless of genre. So if you're wanting to be more specific and you're wanting to say, well, where does El Dre fall with regards to similar artists within similar genres, you can actually check that box in the top right that says filter by genre cluster. And that will actually start to filter down on artists that fall within these specific genres. So El Dre, releases instrumental, lo-fi, hip-hop, and falls within a bunch of different genres, and also electronic as well, as far as down-tempo electronics. So as we can see here, we now have artists that fall within those genres. So we've got hip-hop and rap, we've got electronic, We've got dance as well as in there as well. So this is going to give you a much better idea. Instead of saying, oh, this artist is one rank above me or one rank below, it's going to say these artists are ranked similar to me within the same genres. And was that an original Eldre track that just played?
Yeah. No, unreleased stuff. So.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, so with neighboring artists, you can obviously customize it, and then you can sort by any of the columns as well that you're looking at there, so you can get a better idea of exactly where you fall. Once again, I know I said comparing yourself to another artist. Some artists may not want to do that, but there are other people in other situations. Maybe it's an A&R, maybe it's a music supervisor that may be looking at artists that fall within the same rank range as this artist and within the same genres. So there's a number of different use cases here for this.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if I click on the social media tab here, you can do the same thing with social media. So we still have the filter by genre cluster checkbox checked here. So we're still looking at the same kind of group of artists that does similar type of music. But now I can do really cool things, with TikTok, for example. He's really big on TikTok. I'm sure he's super plugged in, but if he wanted to, him or people on his team can look at other people also with TikTok profiles with a similar amount of followers. And hey, maybe we can do a collaboration, work on a couple videos, whatever. It's really, the use cases here are really limited to your own kind of like creativity when it comes to the different business decisions and relationships that you want to start. Run an Instagram campaign. Hey, let's just check out other people in my Sonic space that also have a similar amount of Instagram followers, and boom, you got a list of people here. You can click to them and check out their profiles, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool. Let's see, moving on to TikTok. Well, song covered TikTok, right, Mike? Is there anything else extra that you wanted to touch upon here?
Yeah, Song did a really good job covering it before. I think just with that view that you've got there, this is something that some people aren't yet familiar with, and it's extremely helpful. So this is looking at people that have posted content on TikTok and included music from Eldre. And so what we've done is we've identified up to the top 2,000 influencers as far as people that, number one, they'll have a large following, but more importantly, they're getting a large amount of activity and engagement on those posts. So views, likes, comments. And you may see some familiar names in here. We can see Will Smith. We can see a bunch of familiar names in there. What's helpful about this is that obviously we can see by date first posted. So if a song went viral after a specific date, we could identify who was one of the first people that posted it that got a large amount of engagement on TikTok. We can go to views and likes because some people may not have a large following, but they're getting a lot of engagement in the feed. They ended up on the For You page, so they got a lot of reach with that post. The other thing that you can do is anywhere in these rows, if you click, it will actually bring up an extra window where you can go directly to their profile on TikTok or directly to that video on TikTok. And so you can see everything that they've been posting. You can see that video and what all the excitement and all the hype was about. In this case, that's adorable. I mean, I'd like that immediately in a second. Oh, can we just leave that up for a second? That's
it is pretty adorable. Adorable.
So yeah, I really like this section because a lot of people have said, it wasn't the original intention with Chartmetric, but over the years, it's turned into a place where people are trying to find influencers that they can reach out to. And I mean, going back 4 or 5 years, playlist curators. Now it's let's find people who have a lot of engagement on TikTok that have included one of our songs. Let's reach out to them, send them a DM, tell them there's a new song coming out this week. There's a lot of opportunities that we're trying to help identify in the platform to save you time and to help you, further your growth as an artist as well.
Totally. Cool. Shall we switch over to Kate Bush maybe, Mike?
Let's do it.
Boom. So Kate Bush, for those of you not familiar, we just put out an article on our blog, by the way, blog.chartmetric.com, about her and some of her music being recently kind of shown to a new generation because her music played a very important role at maybe some part of a Stranger Things season 3 episode. And as you can see here, we're back on the social and streaming stats arena here. The the kind of the sync that Netflix used some of her music. I think it was a track from the 1980s. Netflix, I think, released that season 3 right around here. I want to say like that Friday. Looks like people spent the weekend binging, and her career kind of took off after it because the song itself plays a very pivotal role at a certain part. You can kind of see the kind of reflections everywhere else. On our Spotify, on our YouTube, which is pretty cool. I mean, this is exactly the kind of reason you would want to go to a tab like this and check it out. And really a testament to Netflix and kind of like the effect that they have on artists and the music that they include in some of their bigger properties, as you see here. Her audience. So this audience tab here on the left is really cool. I think once we've gotten past, the number of followers I have or the playlist that I got onto, I think kind of the next question naturally becomes, well, who are my listeners? Who are my fans? Who are my potential fans? That maybe I don't even know yet and haven't connected with and didn't even realize maybe were there. That's what this tab is all about. So we have it for a few different platforms, specifically Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And this gives you an insight into kind of like some of the information that you see some of, I think, probably on each of those platforms relative, back ends. For example, there's, Spotify for artists, there's your Instagram analytics that, you can check out on your phone if you have a business account. All these, platforms have their own versions of this. I think the advantage here with Chartmetric is you see them all in one place. I think that ability to kind of understand some of the data, which some of it actually disappears. So we kind of retain it so you can kind of look historically and study how things have gone in the past for you. You can see very quickly, how does my Spotify audience compare to, my Instagram audience? For Kate Bush, for example, she has a lot of people, listening on Spotify in London, Sydney, Sao Paulo in Brazil, Melbourne, Los Angeles, Santiago. You can click this kind of view more if you want to, which is really cool. You can kind of look at the different Spotify monthly listeners that she has compared to her total amount, kind of where she ranks in the city compared to other artists that we have on the Chartmetric platform and kind of where she stands in Spotify monthly listeners in that particular locale. And also as a reference point, to understand of those artists that we all follow, in our entire database, who has that highest number of Spotify monthly listeners in London, which right now it happens to be Drake with 857,000. So the fact that, she's doing, 426,000 in London in the same place is huge. For those not familiar, she's an artist, like an art pop, kind of had a cult following in the 70s, 80s time period, and has put out music ever since then, but has been relatively laying low compared to that period in her life. So it's cool to see that surge. Mike, you want to talk about Instagram or YouTube, TikTok?
Yeah, sure. Let's touch on Instagram, and I appreciate you not sharing any spoilers as well. And that goes for everyone in the comments as well. Thank you very much, because I'm still catching up, and
you'll know it when it goes. You'll know it.
But yeah, I did catch the part where the song comes, and I was like, wow, yeah, this is like the perfect timing, the perfect placement, the perfect, it was perfect. So shout out to the music supervisor, because
oh man, 100%.
Yeah. Cool. So with Instagram, obviously there's a few things here we can see on the screen. This is going to give us a better understanding of the audience. And we have this for multiple platforms, what you see here. We have this for the following on TikTok, the following on YouTube as well, as long as the artist is on those platforms. In this case, firstly, we're looking at Instagram. Up the top, we have a summary of the primary Instagram audience. So I just want to be clear. This is anyone that has a public Instagram profile that is following the artist. We are able to gather this information from that public profile. So firstly, we are looking at gender, we are looking at age, and then we also have things like ethnicity, spoken languages. Scrolling down, we also have locations such as cities and countries. Obviously helpful for things if you're looking to plan a tour and you're looking at cities where you have a following. That's going to give you a good idea of how many followers you may have in that particular location. Then I will get to brand affinity and audience interest in a second, but to the right, we also have notable followers. So this is looking at people that follow Kate Bush and sorted by who has the largest following themselves as well. We've seen artists use this to identify people they didn't know were following them. It leads to the ability to send them a direct message. And in some cases, it's led to a collaboration on a song or a collaboration with a brand, sometimes even getting booked at a music festival because they didn't realize they were being followed by that particular account. So this is a great way to identify opportunities that might be right in front of you, because if someone is already following you, that means that you should be able to send them a direct message and communicate with them directly. And then to the left of that, we have brand affinity and audience interests. The short version of this is, once again, we're looking at people that follow Kate Bush, and we're looking at other accounts that they are engaging with, other profiles, if you will. And for the case of something like Disney, this could be people that are following the Disney profile using hashtags related to Disney movies, TV shows, but also location tags, like if they're checking in at Disneyland on a public post, that would count towards that brand as well. So looking at this, we can see BBC, Amazon, Spotify Music, Star Wars. And to the right of that, we have audience interests. So this is obviously more broad. This is looking at what are the people that follow Kate Bush engaging with? What might they be interested in? So we can see that there's a large amount of people also interested in pets, art and design, shopping and retail, and even beer, wine, and spirits there as well. And we do have a separate brand page, which basically does the opposite of this. So right now we're looking at the overlap between specific brands and the audience for Kate Bush. In our brands page, we're basically saying, who are the artists that have the highest audience overlap with this brand? So if you were looking at a particular brand, let's say Nike, you could go directly to that brand and see that list of artists as well. So one thing that's interesting while we're doing this is I realized we've maybe covered 4% of what we would actually like to show you, which is a reason why these are becoming so frequent, because we're pushing updates sometimes twice per week to the product. We're constantly adding new features. I mean, you can see that new button in the left menu there. We've just added YouTube sentiment. We've added radio airplay for Sirius XM. There's just a large amount of features that we're dropping every week and we're adding. So one thing that I would suggest is, if you're new to Chartmetric, we have the chat in the bottom right corner. You can ask questions directly to our team. You can leave a message for us. It will be waiting for you with a response when you come back. If you leave the app, the response will go directly to your email. Outside of that, we also have a detailed help center. Now, when people say help center, they usually think that's if you have a problem. In this case, we have a help center that has articles that will help you with things like getting started, getting familiar, getting comfortable with Chartmetric. It covers the basics like following an artist, adding some missing links so that we can pull in as much data for you as possible, all the way through to things like diving deep into radio airplay data within different regions around the world. And so we know that this can be overwhelming. It's a lot. It really is. It's very detailed, but it's also really exciting and really powerful when you know how to use it. So we encourage you to reach out to us anytime with questions. If you've got a number of people on your team that are using Chartmetric, we're more than happy to jump on a call like this and walk you through it and do a personal walkthrough as well. You know, that's what we're here for. You know, we're here to save you time and we're here to help.
Absolutely. Mike, you think we got time for one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's hit up playlists. We got to hit a playlist, right? Work hard, playlist hard. So this tab up here, this is our main navigation. So, you know, we hit the dashboard. You know, we are in an artist page. Obviously, if, you know, you're an artist and you're doing your own thing, playlists are going to be a big part of your strategy, or they can be a big part of your strategy. And what we provide here is a way for you to kind of take a holistic look at the entire ecosystem of playlists as it pertains to Spotify or YouTube, Apple, Deezer, Amazon Music. I think these filters here are going to give you an idea of the things you can do. You know, when it comes to pitching, you know, your upcoming new release, you're going to want to find the right playlist to do it. So you might know that organically, just according to the kind of music you listen to, kind of on your phone or what have you. But at some point, you're going to be kind of reaching beyond what your own personal experience is. And so that's what this is for. As you can see, over 11.3 million Spotify playlists, over 9,000 on YouTube. With Apple Music, Deezer, and Amazon, we have those here as well. We got a lot of Apple Music ones. And then, yeah, and you can see basically just clicking on each one of these tabs, you're going to get a list of all the different playlists sorted by some, you know, whatever we have available for that particular platform. So in this case, if we go back to Spotify, the default sorting is by kind of followers on that particular playlist, but we have other things as going on here as well. So 28-day change is going to be the change in followers. So followers, how much that playlist is growing in terms of its listenership. So surprise, surprise, Stranger Things official playlist on Spotify has grown the most in the past month. And 28-day add here is going to be the percentage of tracks on that particular playlist that's changed in the past month. So what we're really trying to get at here is, you know, some playlists are created and they're never touched upon again, or they're rarely touched. Obviously, if you're trying to place some of your music on those playlists, you're going to want to look for something that's, you know, pretty close to 100%, if not 100%. There's so many playlists out there with kind of, you know, really big or really influential followings. So to look at one that's not stagnant would obviously behoove you. You can kind of look at different genres here that are kind of typical for that particular platform, or I'm sorry, playlist. And then these last few categories here, personalized, which is something specific for Spotify. Some Spotify playlists are personalized to the individual user according to their past listening preferences, their library, et cetera, and some are not. So that we have that kind of listed for you here. Track age is going to be one of three things. It's going to be frontline, catalog, or mixed. Frontline being kind of, you know, industry lingo for anything that got released in the past 18 months. Catalog being anything released older than 18. It's 18, right, Mike?
That's correct. Yes.
Thank you. Catalog being anything released older than 18 months from now. And then mixed is kind of like something we made up here. If the playlist is somewhere between 25 to 75% music currently, that was, you know, a little bit of catalog, a little bit of frontline, we say mixed, because sometimes it's a mix of things depending on what the topic of the playlist is. Mike, what do you think? Mr. Playlist Man.
You nailed it. Yeah, you know, I think with playlists, you know, there's a number of different ways you can do this. On an artist page, you can see all the playlists that you've been added to previously, even if you've been removed from them. In this view here, if you know what you're looking for, let's say you're trying to find playlists that might be a good fit for your music. As you can see, you can narrow it down by where we believe the curator is based, the main genres that they curate, well, the main genres they place on that playlist, even subgenres. And if anyone's seen some of the genres that appear on Spotify and everynoise.com, there are some very unique genres in there, and it's super fun. I personally had never heard of bro step until I looked at Every Noise, and I was like, this is fun. And pirate metal and all of these cool genres. And they're all in here, you know, so you can have a lot of fun with that. And then, yeah, we've got the other customization options there. You can look at a specific curator in this view. You can look at the following of that playlist. So, you know, does the playlist have more than 1 million followers? Does the playlist have more than 5,000, etc.? And then next to that is Spotify genres or moods. A lot of people have noticed that playlists have changed over the years. They used to be very genre focused, house music, rock music. Nowadays, its playlists are also focused on a specific mood instead, like studying, cooking, cleaning, yard work, you know, driving, working out. So we made sure to include that as well, because Spotify do also categorize their playlists by mood as well as genre. But we could talk about that all day, but we won't. Jason, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we've covered a lot in this amount of time. How are you feeling, my friend?
I think we did cover a lot. I don't want to bore anyone either. So, did we have some questions in the chat or anything like that?
You know, I did see a few comments before, and we do really appreciate everyone tuning in from around the world, and we appreciate you being here right now with us. And for everyone that's in the replay, this will apply to you as well, that you can reach out to us anytime. We've got the chat in the bottom right corner. When you're on chartmetric.com, you can ask us any questions and we will get back to you. And for anyone that hasn't checked out Chartmetric before, you can go to chartmetric.com. You can sign up. There's a free trial. There'll be a message that pops up that greets you. I'm not sure what that is, but that's hilarious. Thanks, Michelle. Michelle from the team. And, you know, we would love to hear from you. And we love it when you send us animated GIFs as well in the chat. It makes our day.
We run on GIFs, so please send them.
Ooh, that and coffee.
That and coffee.
Excellent.
Wow, look at you.
Cool. Let's take this screen off. Jason, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to catch up and hang out with you, and we got to do it with a bunch of other great people here today as well. So thank you everyone for joining us. Any last words, Jason?
No. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy your summers, and we'll be online. We'll see you.
Bye.